Senator Chris Van Hollen, Democrat, flying down to El Salvador. And there was an agenda there. It wasn't just a matter of getting something done.
They're on the side of on gang members.
Let's jump in a Fox News interview with MAGA Senator Britt, as she had some just ridiculous claims that I wanted to debunk. So if you can't, start by leaving us a like. It boosts us in the algorithm and we really appreciate it. And let's just hop right into the interview.
It's clear whose side Democrats are on. They're on the side of child molesters, on gang members, on those who are preying on the most vulnerable and here illegally. And Republicans have the backs of the American people. I don't know where this passion was from the Democrats over the last 4 years, as we saw our border be invaded day after day after day, as we saw the heartbreaking stories of people like Laken Riley losing her life, or Rachel Marin, or Jocelyn Nungary, or as you talk to parents from coast to coast, Katie, who lost their children to fentanyl poisoning. Where was this energy? Where was this fight? Unfortunately, they don't have that fight for the American people, but President Trump made a commitment over the last 4 years. There was no more litigated issue, Katie, than this.
It's the presupposition of them being criminals when it's supposed to be innocent until proven guilty in this country. For me, I mean, it's just another principle MAGA doesn't really value, I guess, the most un-American party we've ever had in this country. Democrats are standing up for Americans by standing up for constitutional principles and protections like due process, the only party that values the Constitution. MAGA warns of the deep state and these evil, faceless bureaucrats, and then all of a sudden, they're horrendously upset that officials elected by the American people are checking up and doing lawful oversight on their faceless bureaucrats. There's no consistency here. What is your logical or ethical principles, right, about faceless bureaucrats? And as my mom always said, if you're not doing anything wrong, you have nothing to worry about. But it's the normalization of just defying the Constitution that is really scary here, as MAGA pretends like Democrats are the crazy ones for standing up to protect it.
They demanded these big pieces of legislation that gave amnesty to the millions of people who came into the country illegally, including criminal aliens who had criminal histories in their home countries. So there was an agenda there. It wasn't just a matter of getting something done.
And Katie, also think about those who have preyed on the most vulnerable. So you mentioned the numbers about the border being down 93%. Let's talk about unaccompanied children who were allowed to come here under the Biden administration. You go back to March of 21, 18,000 unaccompanied children in March of 21. This past March, we had 600, just over 600 unaccompanied children. Those numbers have gone down dramatically.
Couple things to note here. Legislation should always be the preferred means to solve issues in this country. I don't know why Republicans are so trying to escape that, because I mean, it's codifying, it's much more permanent and lasting, whereas executive orders are just going to be overturned by the next president. They get overturned to a 90% rate. How many of Trump's did Biden undo? How many did Biden's does Trump undone now? I mean, that was the big thing about MAGA was, Biden reversed Trump's policies and opened up the border. Well, okay, then why wouldn't you want to pass it as legislation? The idea that this is the way to handle it and not the democratic process that allows us to bipartisanly work together on legislation only further shows these people's dictatorial tendencies. Second, there's no logical, economic, moral argument for mass deportation over mass amnesty. It solves all of the same problems as deportation in terms of learning who these people are. It's also more effective. Amnesty would save over $100 billion compared to mass deportations, and they would then add to our tax base, providing more revenue in the next years to come. Also, I love how close they are to getting it. COVID exacerbated global conditions, leading to more refugees and migrants. As more countries recover, less refugees and migrants will come. It never had anything to do with an open border, which never existed.
These Democrats who are defending keeping these criminal aliens who have murdered in communities before here and not wanting them to be deported. Democrats trying to turn around deportation planes. The list goes on and on. Senator Chris Van Hollen, Democrat, flying down to El Salvador, meeting with a wife-beating gang member who was deported out of the country. So where do you guys go from here to try and get this underway? Because there were millions of people let into the country, mostly all of them unvetted. And when you talk to a lot of these Border Patrol, HSI, ICE officials, they will tell you look, there's a lot of bad people who are in the country, and we're going out every day trying to get them out, but we're getting pushback from Democrats, and the numbers are just so overwhelming.
So many things are wrong here in such a short time. First, I would pay good money, any amount of money, if any MAGA could send me any Democrat saying that immigrants who commit murder should be allowed to stay in our country scot-free. That's literally just in the things have never happened. That is the thing that never happened the most. I mean, it's just an insane misrepresentation. Also, Abrego Garcia's own wife has a public statement that he never engaged in any like physical acts against her. They were never in a fight, nothing like that. And the only evidence that Abrego Garcia is a gang member is one testimony based off his clothing, which the kicker is, if you believe that, then why would you not believe E. Jean Carroll's testimony along with 3 corroborative testimonies and a witness testimony all stating that Trump raped her, where a jury 9-0 unanimously found that Trump did indeed rape her? That can't be believed, but one testimony from hearsay from a dude's outfit can be. Got it, MAGA. Definitely logically consistent. Lastly, she said that many immigrants came in this country unvetted, but then also said that many of them are bad people. If they weren't vetted, how would you know they're bad people? You wouldn't know who they are if they're unvetted. That's kind of definitionally what unvetted means. I know words are hard, but like doesn't make the least bit of logical sense. And it's because surprisingly, it's not true. Like most things on Fox News, like most things that MAGA says, overwhelmingly, the majority of migrants are absolutely vetted. Like what do these people think is going on our border? Like these masked up immigrants are like tiptoeing across at like the empty spaces. Like typically undocumented status comes primarily from those awaiting asylum, those whose work visas have expired, and those who showed up without proper documentation. The percent of those like sneaking barefoot across the border without being vetted is astronomically low. It's so astronomically low that it's to the point it's not even worth discussing because it has so little to do with the actual issue.